Should I go to art school? Do I need to go to art school? That seems to be the eternal question. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Underground Lair, where we bring our creations to life. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. I'm a professional illustrator, designer, and mad creator. And if you aspire to be any of those things, then maybe you are asking yourself, well, do I need to go to art school? And I get this question a lot. It's been debated to death, and I have answered it before, but I keep getting the question, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to answer it again. Now, this is just my opinion. You may speak to some other people and get a different opinion, and that's probably a good thing. You probably should talk to a few different artists or get some advice from different artists and see what they say. But I'm gonna straight up tell you my opinion, whether you need to go to art school, whether you should go to art school. And so let's get into it. But before I do that, I guess I should answer the question: did I personally go to art school? Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by art school. I didn't go to like an accredited art school. I didn't go to like a university style setting or anything like that. Basically, you know, I went to what was a community college style setting. It was actually a really good program. So I guess I should rewind a little bit, because when I started going to art school, it was before YouTube or anything, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And in some ways I kind of lucked out as far as the path I took, where some of my friends went a different path and it ended up, you know, not being so pleasant for them. But, you know, I guess if I would have had YouTube and if I would have been asking these questions and had people that can answer them for me, I would have been a little better off. But in some ways, I kind of lucked out. But the thing that I didn't know when I was going into it, I didn't know that there were different kinds of art, different disciplines. I knew what I like to do, which was more sort of commercial art. But when I started going to art school, and I started basically my goal was just to take as many art classes as possible. So I enrolled in a local, community college, and I started taking all these fine art classes, which is good. That is something that is going to be very helpful. Life drawing, color theory, all of that stuff was very helpful. But before I got too far along, I had an instructor who was kind of looking at the work that I did and noticed, I had a lot of logo designs and things like that, and that school didn't teach any of that. It wasn't a commercial art or graphic design oriented school. So that instructor suggested maybe I should transfer to a different art program at a different community college. So I did that, and that's where I found a really cool kind of curriculum that they were running, which a lot of it was sort of based off of Art Center. If you're familiar with the Art Center is one of these really high-end art colleges, very well respected, and most people that go to those I don't think anyone could just get in there. You have to have a certain pedigree or a certain set of skills and everything, and most people that go to Art Center do end up working in the industry. So there are things like that to consider, but by and large, you don't really need to go to art school. Now, you do need to learn how to do all this stuff, but a lot of the times a traditional art school setting isn't exactly the way to do it, because when I got into the workforce, I was going out for jobs and stuff with people who had fancy art degrees and things like that, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter what that degree was. All that mattered was that portfolio. Now, going to school and all that, you're going to be able to build a portfolio. You're going to get better, but there are other alternatives to doing that. And rather than going into just massive debt, because there's so many people that go to these especially these high-end schools, university for art, and they're not able to find work in that industry. I was lucky enough that, I think I didn't even end up getting the degree. All right. So, I was taking classes. I think I got a couple certificates. I basically, like I said, my goal was just to take as many classes as I could. And the reason why I went that route, because I struggled in school. I struggled with academics. So in community college, I didn't have to take all those academic classes. There were a few of them that I had to take, but it wasn't like a university or whatever. So that was, I think, the main reason why I didn't go the university route, which I'm glad I didn't, because I I'm not in massive debt. I was able to, the community college classes were quite a bit less money. And it got to the point where, my work was good enough from what I learned in school that I got hired right out of school, even before I got a chance to get a degree. So, so I guess lucky me. And then there were times where I thought, I got to go back and get my degree. But then I found out, I don't really need that degree. It doesn't really mean that degree for art anyway. It doesn't mean anything. I've never had anyone ask about the degree. There's one exception to why you would need an actual degree and that is if you want to teach art at the university level. And it's kind of surprising. I should say it's no surprise the reason why they would require you at a university to have a degree. I don't think I have to spell that out for you, but now I'm not slamming the education you're going to get at an art school. There are many affordable options where you are going to get just as good or better of an education as you would with a fancy art school or a university or something like that. There's tons of online classes, course structures. There's different online art schools that are a fraction of the cost of what you would pay from these traditional models. There's also mentorships. You may be able to find, you just pay an actual artist to mentor you at again a fraction of the cost, or there's also like atelier schools, and there's just all kinds of different options. Even YouTube, if you are disciplined enough, you can create a whole art, and you can learn everything you need right on YouTube. Pretty much all the information you need is here for free. It's just a little harder to navigate and find out what's good, what's not, and it's not so structured. But if you're persistent enough, that's how I've been, educating myself for the past, I don't know how long, is just by watching YouTube videos and learning and figuring out, this is good advice. I'm not too sure about this or whatever. But that's how I have improved as an artist without having to go back to a traditional style art school. Because yes, you do need to educate yourself. You need to learn how to become a better artist, and it's going to take time and effort. But there are a multitude of ways that you can do that aren't that expensive. I've been doing this for a while, and I've never had anyone ask for a degree. And honestly, that's the case with many professions nowadays. Now, there are things like doctors and lawyers where, of course, yes, you have to have a degree. The thing is, doctors and lawyers, by and large, traditionally make a lot more money, and usually the ends justify the means. If you become a doctor or a lawyer, the amount of money that you pay for that education is, you're making enough where you could pay that back. Not so much with most artists. Obviously, there's artists that are doing really well and that have been able to pay all that student loans and things back because they're just doing exceptional. Typically, that's not the case. But the crazy thing is, the education is, it costs you, if you go to a good art school, it could cost you as much as it would to become a doctor or lawyer. So, and that's crazy to me to even think about that. Now, having said all that, does this mean that there are no good reasons to go to an art school? No, there are reasons. I would say, like I said, you're probably going to get a pretty good education. But I would say if you are somebody who's independently wealthy or come from a wealthy family that where money is not an option, or or anything like that, then yeah, that seems like that could be a road to go down. Or if you have a full scholarship to an art school, why not? Yeah, definitely you're going to get a decent education, and it is going to be structured and everything. In most cases, there are probably some bad art schools out there as well. Or if you absolutely need that kind of that structure. If you aren't somebody that can just sit at home online and take courses without getting distracted or anything, if you are the kind of if there's no way that you could sit in front of a computer and learn all the stuff that you could at an art school, then maybe you have to go the art school route. Or if you just need that social setting, that's something that is kind of missing if you're doing this on your own, if you're learning on your own. But you could always, there's all kinds of different options. There's all kinds of communities that you could be involved with, and a lot of these online schools have forums and things like that, or Zoom classes or whatever, where you can interact with instructors or the class and everything. So that social angle is still there, but if you need that kind of in-person, that structure, that social setting, then maybe a traditional art school is the road for you. But just know it's probably not going to be cheap, and there's really there's no guarantee that you are going to have the skills that you need to be a working professional when you get out. And having said that, if you do, no matter what route you take, especially if you want to go to a traditional art school, take it seriously. Your chances are you're spending a lot of money, or your parents' money, or something like that. You want to take it seriously, and you want to. I mean, it's just not the time to go and goof around, because you're going to find out later, especially if you're taking out loans, that maybe I shouldn't have goofed around that much and took that seriously while I was in art school. So anyway, those are my thoughts on art school. I know I talked about this before, but it seems like it needs some need to reiterate for some of the new people that haven't heard my thoughts on that. And I think a lot of people there's a lot of artists that what I would say that I know agree with me, even some of them that actually do teach at a university level. But don't just take my word for it. Do more research. Don't go in kind of blind like me. Like I said, I kind of got lucky and I didn't end up with a lot of student debt, but it could have went that route, and that would not have been a good thing. But anyway, so that's my thoughts on art schools and whether you should go or not. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I'll talk to you guys later. That is all. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media, and now you can support the work that I do on Patreon. If you like making comics, then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.